Right, time for another campaign. I think the next should be fantasy scenarios. China War. Nothing? Okay, at least I'm playing with the US Marine Corps, so that's something. 697 points. Yeah, sounds like a lot, but our tanks will probably cost at least 100 points, even more each. So that's not a lot of, yeah, 500 for 5 goddamn tanks. We need a core force that we can upgrade, not a tank force. This is a fairly modern, but as modern as the game allows you to get, so tanks, missiles, helicopters, could be waves of men too. I'm not sure what can I do to take care of it all. We probably can't afford helicopters right at the start, so we'll have to basically buy something that might be upgradable. Probably can't take tanks, because we can't afford the main battle tanks. So it has to be something else. Yeah, 1,700 for a company of tanks. Slightly outside my price range. Cheapest possible self-propelled artillery could be very useful. Because it doesn't really matter what type of gun it has or anything like that. This is anti-infantry smoke, that sort of crap. And it's a lot of armor that we can use to upgrade or change to something else for 100 points. SAM batteries, I don't think they're worth purchasing. I mean, they can be somewhat useful, but do you really want this to be part of your core army? This is the sort of crap you buy for each scenario as needed. Low AD, which is what? It has an anti-air missile. It's a flak gun. Huh. This seems interesting. It is very, very fast, can also move on water. Good electronics. It's not that big, and it's not that costly. This would be a anti-air missile unit that can also do other functions in the army. So a couple of these might not be a horrible idea. These are all too expensive. Self-propelled mortar. Hmm. Anti-tank. Right, wheeled anti-tanks. Good electronics protected from small weapons fire, can move on water, fast as hell. Doesn't cost a huge amount, but it's probably a fairly efficient anti-tank unit. And since we don't have main battle tanks, we'll have to rely on something else. We could buy an entire goddamn platoon of these. I'm not sure if that's a good idea though. It's a lot of upgradable units, but it might be better to split them up into separate sections simply because of the command structure is more favorable that way. Hmm. Right. Air defense, I'm guessing this is an air defense, so helicopters aren't exactly rare. So yeah, maybe a couple of these too. Again, we can always change them to something else. The problem is that at this point though, we have too much of this shit that we sort of can improve to something else. But we don't have anything that we can rely on right now. Javelin. Javelin would probably be the best option here. Javelin is an upgrade of the Dragon system. I think it's basically fires a missile that goes into the air and attacks a tank from the top direction. So armor shouldn't be that big of a deal. Has good electronics too. And it's much faster. The Taitung probably has to stand still and plant the blasted thing. The Javelin does not. So, but it's a very expensive unit. It's basically vehicle cost. I have no idea how many missiles I'll get. If someone shoots at them in a suppression fire, they're basically gone. I don't think this is a good unit, but not purchased like this. I want some infantry because we have to assume that we'll have to deal with enemy infantry too. Engineers might be the better option at this stage. I'm trying to get an idea how many men do we have. 13 per squad. The Marine Corps would be better at killing people. Problem is it comes with all types of excess crap and I'm not sure I want that. A couple of engineering squads should do it. If we need people or protect certain kind of buildings against enemy attacks, the engineers can do it better. We can always buy extra infantry on a mission to mission basis. This is an automatic grenade launcher. I have no idea how useful this actually is. It is treated like a heavy machine gun type of a weapon. I want to test that, but not with the base troop here. Right, I basically need tanks. Or extra anti-tank units of some sort. Tank platoon, we would get 3 tanks. I'll take it. I mean, I think it's not a smart investment really, but I also don't want 1,000 shitty troops that I might be able or might not be able to upgrade at some point. Sometimes a solid main battle tank is exactly what you need. I have 41 points to spend, maybe more anti-tank action. We'll get 2. We have 6 or 8, that's not bad. Alternatively, we might get a decent infantry anti-tank missile group. It would be certainly cheaper. Not sure if we can get a javelin team. No, we can get 3. So 2 vehicles or 3 infantry. Yeah, the vehicles are vastly superior. So can I even get 2? No, I cannot get 2. I can get 1. I could get these, but these are pieces of crap. What type of anti-tank? This is not an anti-tank unit. This is. Right. Shit. I prefer something we can probably upgrade to proper missile launcher, so maybe the Humvees aren't the worst thing. We could get 2. Actually, we can't even get 2 Humvees. We're 1 point short. Infantry it is. April 5th, 1997. By early 1997, the reunification talks between China and Taiwan fell apart. Besides the failure of the talks, a growing movement to declare Taiwan as a sovereign nation continues to grow. Feeling confident that the West, especially the US, would continue to support them, the Taiwanese government in March declared that Taiwan would be henceforth be known as the Republic of Taiwan. The reaction from China was predictable. The PRC, People's Republic of China, quickly denounced the move and threatened military action. At first the US decided to stay out of the dispute, hoping for a peaceful resolution. China struck under the guise of a military exercise. PRC forces invaded Taiwan. The invasion began with airborne assaults, followed by amphibious landings all along the coast. Within 2 weeks, much of the northern Taiwan had fallen to the PRC. Caught flat-footed by the invasion, the US was slow to react to the war. When threats of economic sanctions failed, the US President ordered the 7th and 6th Fleet to secure control of the Formosa Straits and impose a United Nations sanctioned ceasefire. China did not take well to the intervention in what they consider to be an internal matter. On March 25, hundreds of Silkworm missiles struck at the US fleets. While the damage was moderate, the war between China and the US became a reality. Determined to secure the rest of Taiwan, the PRC Army went on the offensive again. This time they headed for the city of Taitung. Expecting only Taiwanese troops, the PRC ran into something entirely different: US Marines. You are to hold on to the city at all costs. This is a very, very unrealistic scenario. The US reaction especially. Everyone knows the situation there. It's also China is not going to have an easy time landing on Taiwan. That's their the most important protection against China is to never allow them to. They're basically going to sink a lot of ships and kill a lot of people if they're are going to try to some kind of a forced landing. They would have to defeat the defenses on Taiwan. That's a lot of time. It's 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 unthinkable that the US would stand aside and not react at that point in any way. They would enter the war. So this is a ridiculous scenario. Defend. Haven't had a lot of these. We've always gone on the offensive. Ooh, this is a proper defend mission too. Mines and everything. And we have 280 points, which means we can't afford ships. Aircrafts are basically out of the question. We will buy mines with the remaining points. We'll always have a couple of extra. Probably want a helicopter or two. It doesn't have to be all that much of a combat helicopter either. What I need is a good spotter. Something that can move exactly where we need it. Also, if the enemy has a lot of helicopters, it's gonna be tough to counter them if I don't have anything similar to throw their way. They're expensive, but I think they're worth it. Super Cobras. Right, the tanks are out of the question, they're way too expensive. We could buy so little artillery that's irrelevant, but I think we have to expect infantry swarms and armor swarms. Although, I can't see how they could possibly have huge amounts of armor. We'll buy a marine company. It comes with a lot of infantry anti-tank, but I have no idea what the anti-tank unit they try to put on me actually does. It has 4 high explosive weapon shots of some sort, but I have no idea what a SMAW is. It's the shittiest of all these weapon systems though. Still, infantry, machine guns, mortars, they have some smoke basically, and anti-tank teams. So it doesn't really matter what they have, this is still going to be useful. And I need something to protect my own units. Maybe some anti-air, because if I don't buy something now, I probably can't buy anything. Fortifications. These are terrible. Ammo carriers. This would be if we want to take any kind of anti-air missile system, because they do not have shots. I need something to replenish things. Yeah, these are probably worthless. How many do I get? 4. So the full set. I could basically buy something a little before that. I only really need a couple. Just something to harass the enemy if they try to throw helicopters or aircraft our way. Do I know anything about the visibility? No. The view map does not show us relevant information. I've learned that, so we can't rely on this. Yeah, the visibility means nothing. But it's a fairly open terrain, so that's at least useful information. I can't even buy 2 with this. Probably buy snipers though. 4-man scouts. There's probably nothing coming from the south, but who the hell knows. This road is our main problem. The river is gonna be a godsend. If we're lucky, they're gonna be stuck there quite a bit, and I can throw a lot of mines here. It will at least force them to drop infantry at that point. Right. Visibility is great. I'm not sure where we should really position here. We know from experience that trying to go for the obvious places is not gonna work out, especially in a defense mission. We need to force them to come at us in smaller groups. This seems like a fairly good spot, actually. There's enough forest here that they can't see to the north, enough forest here that they probably can't see perfectly through it. So they probably can't see targets hidden behind this group of forests, or these buildings, or these. Right. However, we have to assume there's going to be a lot of artillery and that sort of crap. The you. I have no idea what type of equipment the Chinese will have. That's my biggest worry. They probably have some decent electronics though, so we can't just assume that they can't see through smoke or anything like that. I need to be close enough that I can react to large infantry concentrations. I can't exactly say what exactly am I expecting even. So we'll hold a couple of these units back just in case. Yeah, these are the anti-tank missile units. Now here comes the real problem. Where's the enemy armor going to come from? Are they gonna send troops from here? They should not be able to deploy anything there though. Same with the lower edge of the screen, but that does not mean that there's not gonna be some serious troop concentrations pushing through. This hill might not be a bad place for us. It can definitely shoot at the road fairly well, and we can sort of push back into the forest for cover. We're also in a defensive position, which means we are going to be dug in, so we're not going to be that easy to spot. Okay, there's 3. The others are probably going to be spread all over the place. Mm, yeah, these sort of things are probably good for us. We can maybe get a couple of kills here. They can still push through, but we are also in a position to uh, pull these guys out of here once that happens. Still, it's rarely quite so simple. The main problem is there's really no support fire we can really give. The escaping isn't that easy. Also, these are not close range units, not really. So putting some extra distance to the targets might not be a horrible idea. I'm not too eager to get on the goddamn flags, but this might not be a horrible place. The flags invite artillery bombardment. This can go really badly for us. But shit happens. These would be the air defense ones. They have to be fairly close to where we have positioned the rest of the troops. That's after all our biggest worry. These units on their own aren't particularly useful. They're there to cover the rest. Okay, engineers. I don't give a shit if we lose every one of these. The forest here might be a good place. It's because if we can force any kind of fight to happen on this hill, it's gonna be a nightmare for infantry and tanks alike. Now, there's too little cover here to force a big fight no matter what. I would need a lot more smoke. We can put the other infantry there. Alternatively, protect these areas. But I don't think the enemy is gonna go there. They're gonna go right through the road or come through here. One or the other. Mm, being in buildings is nice, but I don't think that's gonna save our ass either. We'll have to be fairly careful if they have helicopters of any kind, because they'll spot the infantry, and then this type of ambushing is totally worthless. Three Abramses, but only three. Um, these would have be the few units that have the benefit of actually going in and out cover and maybe trying to achieve something useful. Are three Javelin teams. What does a Javelin team do? 4 shots with range 40. Very vulnerable, so we probably don't want them in the front row either. But we do want them fairly close, otherwise they're worthless. Yeah, these buildings are actually in a fairly good place in that sense. Super Cobra. We want these fairly close because I need to know what the hell, where's the enemy coming from. I might still have time to adjust things if I spot them early on. Right, now the trash. We have a couple of ammo barges that can supply who? Ah, god damn it. We do have anti-tank guys, so... Also, do you have ammunition? 4 Stingers. Yeah, it's probably not a bad idea to have an ammo truck. Ammo truck close to these guys. Why the hell can't you be moved? Ah, right. That's because you are using different units. No, something just cannot be placed there for reasons. Right. This means you two have to be fairly close to... Anything else? We have some mines. Or snipers. I'm not sure how useful the snipers are gonna be. I mean, we have the helicopters after all. Still, I'm gonna spread them around. Helicopters can maybe spot where the main push is gonna come from, but they can't spot everything. Right. We have maybe 2 mortars. This would be entirely for smoke firing. I don't see what's the point of shooting anything else. Four extra javelin teams, a couple of infantry squads, a couple of heavier machine guns. Okay, the main thrust is still going to be coming through the road. Very likely at least. Uh, these would have the purpose of drawing fire from more important targets. So that's something we should consider when we're placing them. They're unlikely to achieve anything useful really. Their entire purpose is to save the life of the more useful units. Might never need these guys, but who the hell knows? Still, 2 extra Javelin teams here might not be a horrible idea. They would have to be in a position where I can take the brunt of the damage through the machine guns. 6 Marine squads. I'll put all of them here. Again, this is the likeliest place they're gonna try to push through. I don't want to get them any chance to get into the city. That's when I'm in real trouble. I need to stop them somehow before that happens. And these are cheap sacrificial units anyway. Putting them in a little bit of rough terrain or protected area and they might actually survive fairly well. I mean, I'm not going to abandon them here or anything. Right. And they're dug in. I'm pretty sure I bought mines. Currently don't have build points. So what did I get? I got nothing, even though I spent points on them. That's bullshit, but not much I can do about it. Okay, what campaign is this? This is China. Okay. They can't possibly start so close because my deployment area ends here, and now I'm basically surrounded by enemies from the start. This is this is a level of bullshit I didn't expect from the game. So they can that means they can also come from the south. Shit. Well, I did say before ending the deployment, so we'll probably have to redeploy. Uh, the important part now is to see if there's anything here. Okay, helicopters in the air. These are shitty helicopters, but they're combat helicopters nonetheless. Anti-tank missile machine gun. That's awfully close. We might as well try to see what comes out of this. It's totally not how I expected things to go though. They're already inside my defenses. Right, the infantry here is the real problem, because we're right next to them, so if I move a muscle, I'm basically dead. Also, these guys have anti-tank weaponry only, so yeah. And you move forward. This is definitely something we just have to load. Yeah, Type 92. So I don't think we're gonna be able to do anything this time besides deploying because of how the game decided to do things. I mean, this is a level of bullshit I've not encountered before. How in the hell can I deploy troops right on top of the enemy? This makes no sense. It's just terribly done. Just terrible. Gives you a false impression of what the fight is gonna be about. On the positive side, I suppose I could deploy troops behind them here. I mean, it makes no fucking sense, but it's possible. The infantry here is the real problem. So one way or another we can't stay here. I will have to pull back quite a bit. This type of troop placement here is also pretty worthless. Ah, god damn it. Well, we know there's gonna be a lot of infantry coming through here, so we might as well put some infantry here to counter them. Right, machine guns probably wouldn't hurt, at least one. That way we can draw fire. Actually, it wouldn't be a horrible idea to put one here. Ah, still did not expect this. You got me, game. Congratulations. Anti-tank missile units are a problem though, because I have no idea how much enemies are gonna be coming after these initial waves. I need to spot the enemy quickly. I think our best option is to just deploy behind this hill, because it'll give us a fairly good spot at shooting. No, it could be too close. These are not close range units. Deploying a tank or two here might be a better option. But you still need something to draw fire, otherwise you are boned. Super boned. Okay, you. There's a lot of helicopters coming along the road. Anything else? I don't think these are gonna be all that useful. The fighting is gonna be pretty much over by the time these get to contribute anything. We need to be in a fairly good position to fire on targets right now. And they're gonna be mostly coming from there at this point. There might not be all that many of them though, and we have like 4. Well, I can move fairly quickly to new positions, so that's not much of an issue. But I want to keep the team together. Anything else? Yeah, the repositioning of the tanks maybe. Or a tank. At this we would be still fairly well protected from any newcomers, but we could fire on targets here. Also, um, one sniper is much closer to this place. I want to spot things. Maybe there's some of the engineers too. Okay, we might be able to reposition some of the artillery now. I mean, if we know more or less where the enemy infantry is going to come from, we might as well counter it immediately. Okay, this isn't great, but it's still better than what we had previously. Let's at least try to see how this goes. I don't know what type of victory do we need from this. Holy shit, we're still right next to them. WZ551A. Space basic APC. We can draw out their fire a little bit, but not too much. So let's be fairly careful what we do here. There's definitely more infantry seeing us than we see at the moment. Still, it's all about the helicopters. No matter what, the Javelin guy could not be the one that initiates firing. There's gonna be an immediate reaction, even if things don't go too badly for us. Not sure if this is the correct guy to shoot with. As far away from the action as possible would be preferable. Well, it's pretty much worthless at the moment. We can take down easy targets. Yeah, this thing here is not gonna be alone. More importantly, can't shoot at anything useful right now. The tanks, at the very least, have to die. Have to. So who wants to sacrifice themselves? Surprisingly little counterfire. Don't, I'm pretty sure the tanks will react immediately if I use a vehicle to do anything. So infantry would be better. Also, the tanks are my only real enemy here. The APCs can be taken out with vehicles. That's the spirit. Now they have to react a little bit. Still, totally ineffective against those tanks. Are they particularly good or something? They're fine, but they're not good by any decent measure. Airborne back armor. We've suppressed them significantly though, but this doesn't count the waste by any means. Right. And a new tank appears. We're just gonna have to take these shots, otherwise we'll never achieve anything. Probably are okay to fire freely at this point. They're getting enough casualties that it's going to start to heal in units that we haven't even shot yet or seen yet. Okay, do you see anything? Infantry, a little bit too far for us. Same thing here. This, on the other hand, is close enough. Okay, all the vehicle targets we see currently have been taken out. The thing is, we probably don't see all the vehicles at the moment. So now would be a great time to use the helicopters to show us extra targets. Not sure I want to fly at high altitudes. We know that there's an anti-air artillery waiting to us to the west. We don't want to waste those. Actually, not sure what we want to do. Right, back in the cover. Not bad. We absolutely have to get the APCs because there's so much infantry in them. But you, we might be able to get one of the anti-air units. Okay, incoming helicopters. We'll ignore those, but we probably want at least an attempt on one of those. Right. I don't really want to waste these. We'll have a single attempt with the missile and they'll be it. Right, not bad. We've achieved quite a bit. We have lost pretty much nothing of value. Okay, that's a unfriendly shot right there. If we stay here, we are dead. We are 100% dead. This is an older model, so we can probably create some smoke to save our ass. Because if we move from this position, it'll drastically decrease our possibilities of ever hitting anything with our missiles. But move we must. Really want to do anything with the AA units at the moment. We're in a bad spot. They see us from too long of a distance, so especially the helicopters will spot us very, very easily. Right. I don't think we're lucky enough to be able to drive something like this away permanently, but it will break the incoming helicopter group. Also, we know vehicles probably coming our way, so we'll definitely stay here. Your purpose is to kill as much infantry as you possibly can. We are mostly seeing infantry, not that particular interesting infantry either. We could go here and take out these, although I don't think that's a good idea. We really don't know what they're gonna throw our way. So better to just hold still and see what's coming. Somehow I doubt we've seen the worst of it yet. Okay, if I dump some smoke here, that might actually do a lot of good for us. And I don't see how trying to stay hidden is going to do all that much good for us. Do they still spot you? Yeah, maybe. The thing is, well, I can see through smoke. I don't think they can. Oh, what the fuck was that? Oh, wrong house. And that's the last of my smoke. Well, that was worth it. Do you have smoke? One extra smoke. Right. Situation here. Someone had to take the first shot. I'll leave the rest of the infantry in a position to react. There are more infantry squads there. I just don't see them yet. There we are. Gotta open fire. Without a doubt we've revealed ourselves quite well, so hoping that we can sort of just counter their reaction fire is a foolish hope. I'll still leave a couple of reaction shots, because yeah, there's probably more of them. Right, we can maybe we should fire a smoke here. I mean, it's pretty much irrelevant to our vehicles. And I have no idea if it's irrelevant to theirs. Could be. Okay, doesn't seem to be that bad, but again, we don't know what they're gonna do. Yeah, we're gonna lose a lot of infantry development teams, but like, it was pretty obvious there's gonna be an infantry swarm again. You can't rely on the reaction fire, just isn't gonna happen. You need a huge amount of extra units. On the positive side, we've done this before, quite a few times, so we know how to deal with this. It's ugly for a couple of turns, then it settles down to no one making any progress. Okay, that went still better than I expected. The thing is, more or less as we expected. The main thrust is going to come here, and another thrust is going to come here. Lot of tanks. On the other hand, if we can get a good view, I'm betting a lot of them get stuck in the river. So this is much more dangerous of an attack because none will get stuck here. We need to suppress the infantry somehow. So sacrificial units, this is their job. Draw some fire. I can't really shoot at anything useful. They did the same thing that I did though. Part with everything they got, more or less, so they don't have anything in store to do reactions. Yeah, that didn't achieve too much. Not sure it's a good idea to stay here. I don't have any shots left, so there's any type of even a shitty infantry unit coming here, I'm dead. Also, I don't need to stay here. I don't really gain anything by doing that. Okay, we bring a couple of extra artillery pieces here. Things should settle down quite quickly. Do I even see any vehicles? Still. I don't really want to fire so far away. I'll just basically give up my own position there. By doing that, probably won't achieve anything too useful. Still. I mean, I should just sit here and do nothing. These guys probably all see infantry, right? So, don't do a goddamn thing. Hey, hey, hey. Right, right. We could shoot a helicopter, but I don't have a terrible luck with that. So I don't think the percentages shown is correlate to shooting at anything but vehicles. Ground-based vehicles at that. Right, I'm hoping the few casualties will sort of slow them down a little bit. Do you see anything? Vision 40, yeah, they'll see perfectly. Also expect that the gazelles will have some vision, so they will also see fairly accurately even if the smoke is there. We really want to move the engineers a little bit closer to the tank, so basically screen targets coming at it. Forest. We just want to cause as many casualties as possible. Squads lost. You feel them. You feel the losses. You can ignore them for a while, but then it starts to hurt. Is it sensible to stay here? I don't think it's a bad idea. They are unlikely to push through the hill initially, so they'll more or less just drive through here. We'll get them into crossfire, but the single tank is in a terribly risky position. Crew destroyed. Wonderful. Clickety clickety click. Still the clickety clickety click is bad for morale. "42 enemy units. That's enough. I'd rather fire first with this one. Shit. Ooh, that's exactly what I wanted to do. Right. The purpose was to try to get rid of their anti-air capabilities. At least reduce them so the helicopters can operate a little bit more freely. There's not that many covering them. Maybe around 4, I'd say, in total. With a 2-2 split, probably. Maybe. Okay, there were definitely more. I just can't see them at the moment. Okay, we can take a single shot. It has to be a tank. The APCs are not that big of a concern for me. Also, I think the percentages are for the Gatling gun, so we can ignore that. We want to shoot at a target that's in the middle of their constant tank formation, because if we get a kill, it has the best possible effect on the enemy unit. Everyone here will be suppressed a little bit. Button, retreating, excellent. Didn't achieve shit, and we got a little bit of a split in the enemy force. Much easier to deal with now. Don't have high hopes for this one. It has a single point of suppression. That has a massive effect in the missile accuracy. But I can get a single shot off. And it might do some good, especially if we get someone in this cluster. Accuracy of 0%. Yeah, that's not good. Seven is good though. Relatively good. Yeah, it's a reasonable chance of actually getting a hit and kill. The missile accuracy was probably closer to 50% at least. So not bad. Anything else we can do? Should I try to take out the APCs? We're much more likely to succeed in that. Also, the infantry is sort of a big problem. Also, APCs are much less likely to get stuck there. I mean, this is rough terrain with some height drop to the stream and then height and rough terrain to get out. It's slow going even at the best of times, and I'd say at least 10% of them is gonna get stuck, at least. So 2 to 3, 4, and that's pretty much the worst case scenario. Ooh, they started from these positions. Okay. We're probably gonna lose javelin squads. But I'm not sure if any vehicle groups are in danger. Ooh, yes they are. From enemy infantry though. This does mean that we're unlikely to get a decisive victory. We're down one helicopter. As good as combat helicopters are, they do not take well to damage. But we need to get rid of this infantry group now, they're causing casualties. Not sure what this crew is planning on doing. The vehicle they're trying to use is destroyed. But it's the only one staying put, so I have to try to do something with it. Ooh, we're only retreating now. Excellent. Okay. I'm not sure if I even should shoot at this guy. It's basically because if some infantry squad now comes here, they will totally annihilate us. Because no one has any kind of reaction shot. And that's pretty dangerous. Oh, that's less than good. Helicopter can already see us. Actually, I'm not gonna fire on this machine gun on this turn either. Uh, there aren't that many good targets. And we need to be able to shoot at intact enemy squads soon. Ooh, yeah, fire on it. If we can suppress a couple of squads before they hit our meager defensive walls, our chance of holding the defense there increases dramatically. I think this was going to 8 already. Probably not needed, but better to have the extra firepower and not need it. It's likely one of the two major infantry routes they're gonna attack us through, so it's not like the artillery pieces are gonna have better use for their time at this stage. Ooh, do you see a vehicle? Yes, you do. Excellent. Shoot a vehicle. This would be a side armor hit. Frontal. If we can't get kills, we need to reposition our troops. We could shoot at them, but we don't have that many anti-helicopter units. Better not waste them. Yeah, this unit is pretty much boned if we stay here, but we can get one extra. And being boned here isn't exactly a horrible thing. It just means they're gonna stay there and shoot me, which is totally worthless for them. And they're gone. No, not yet. We could peep out a little bit and start firing with these. I think we should rather. It might not go our way, but they're basically getting so close that we're going to be just as much in risk of dying as they are if we just wait. So we're gonna lose the little advantage we have. Yeah. Ooh, that'll do a lot of good. It'll allow the tanks to go and fire with less risk of the enemies being able to retaliate. Yeah, this can't go through front hole. Okay, the couple of hits here might be exactly what we need to make a difference. We need to be sparing with the rocket ammo and Gatling gun. They're the anti-helicopter ammunition we can use. 51. Only 51. Ah, that gazelle is awfully close. But if I go there now, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get boned. I'd rather shoot at the northern targets. Simply because we can shoot at the side armor. No luck. We can't stay here for long though. Oh, definitely can't stay here. Right, what about you? Someone's gonna have to start shooting these guys. Not good enough. Right, this squad has to start firing or we're done for anyway. I think they've shot at us a little bit. So we're sort of done for anyway. Better not to abandon our current positions. Need to do something about that infantry squad, otherwise it can take out my marines. I might be able to suppress it a little bit, but it's not going to be worth anything. Ooh, mortars can shoot at something. I don't want to shoot at any extra smoke here, so just shoot at anything you can. Ooh, we probably see an armor unit somewhere. Yeah. Big problem is that I do need quite a bit of tank kills, but I can't really penetrate their armor with these. So if I focus on the APCs, I might get some kills, but it's not enough. Still, it might delay them enough. It did not. And we have one extra shot. Just isn't enough. Clickety clickety click. Yeah, it really isn't just gonna go through through some magic. So the javelins are good against the APCs, but against these type of tanks, just it's no good. They basically have 4 shots, so we cannot rely on just pushing things through consecutive clicking. It won't work. We don't have the ammunition for that. We need to get kills. Like there has to be at least 50-50 chance that it's gonna get destroyed, and we're not getting that. Not even close. So we should really just shoot at the APCs. Also, D0 wasn't? Do the enemies still see us? I don't think so. Yeah, you are not D0 is dead. Yep. You. Well, if we would hold position, yeah, we can do something, but the problem is that's not gonna be good enough. We should focus on the tanks. Simply because the missile teams are not good enough for that job. It's a good kill, caused a lot of retreating units. Sure, if I shoot all that much more. I'm sort of hoping to get a extra kill or two. That way I might be able to get a good decent route going down here. It wouldn't really stop them, but it would give me time. Right, it's buttoned. That's not good enough, but there's still a retreating unit or two, routed unit. So it's gonna get tougher for them. That's not gonna be able to do it alone. Okay, let's see what the enemy does. I think I'll leave things here. We're gonna eat up some casualties. At the same time, it's not terrible by any means. Okay, they had helicopters retreating from the map. That's great. That is amazing. And they've routed some units, so the effectiveness, the iron fist coming our way is basically fizzling out. That's the important part, because I can't take too many tanks out in a turn. Maybe 2 or 3 if things go well. So if there's something like this, where half a dozen tanks will hit me, and another half a dozen will come at the follow-up turn, I can't survive that. And we have a single tank here. So basically, we want to take out this or cripple it heavily and more or less point our guns north. They're gonna have to come through this opening to reach any of our flags, and we can make it a hell for them. I might not have all that much time with the self-propelled artilleries to thin out their infantry numbers though, so we'll have to pull back with those. There's no point throwing them away. And that's pretty much it. I want to see what they see. So this missile squad is at risk. We have to be prepared to pull them back. Same with everything here basically. Yeah, but it doesn't look bad, and we still have our both of our helicopters, so they can reposition behind them to shred their rear armor. That should be significantly weaker. Yeah, something like 6 or 10 compared to 4 times the tougher armor. So that should be able to help us out a little bit.